Order the Apache Junction Water District meeting to order. Roll call.
Chairman Wilson,
Yes?
Vice Chairman Rizzi,
Present.
Board Member Heck,
Present.
Board Member Evans,
Here.
Board Member Johnson, Board Member Nesser,
Present.
Board Member Schroeder.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of the minutes.
Nobody wants to approve them, I will. I make a motion, except I'm not in my computer.
You have a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Nesser, second by Councilmember Evans, or Board Member Evans.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Vice Chair Rizzi,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson, Board Member Evans,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Presentation, discussion, and public hearing, consideration, resolution 2022-005, fully adopting adopting estimates and expenditures of the Water Utilities Community Facility District for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023. Mike?
Good evening, Chairman Wilson and members of the board. Just a quick presentation. You guys seen a lot of these slides, but we have two new board members. I'd like to welcome you to the board. Quick update here. We have our past budget was the actuals in 2021, or 2020 and 2021, with our expenditures roughly at $5.8 million. We budgeted this year of $7.1 million and are projected to spend $5.9 million. We're proposing a new budget for 2022-23 of roughly $13.7 million, and we'll go through some of those projects as part of this presentation. A couple of major projects. We have a raw water pipeline from the Superstition Area Water Plant to the Superstition Mountain Community Facilities District, which is the sewer district, to move raw CAP water or effluent from one location to the next for additional water supplies. We also have to drill a well on Superstition Vistas, roughly at $1.4 million, and then purchase radios for existing service connections for meters so that we can monitor meters hourly rather than once a month when we go out and read them and then send bills to customers, so that if somebody has a leak, it'll actually notify us so that we can catch them and tell the customers earlier so they don't have a large water bill in the end. We'll also be designing and constructing a new booster pump station at Booster Station 2 to expand that for the development we've had north of Baseline currently. We'll get in a bigger discussion a little later on utility billing software of $150,000 we budgeted this year. And then some of our, as you can see, our Central Arizona project, which is Colorado River water, is going up in expense. So our expenses for fiscal year 22 was roughly $770,000, and fiscal year 2023 will be $810,000. We are working on a study with the Salt River project on a Verde River sedimentation mitigation. This is to look at raising the Verde River. They have several dams on there. There's 2 dams that they're looking at raising one of those dams to add extra capacity to that. So we're looking at additional water supplies. We're in phase 2, or year 2 of this study coming up next year. It's a 3 to 4 year study they're looking at. It's roughly $100,000 that we are providing to SRP for that study. We also are purchasing our Central Arizona project water, 817 acre feet over the next 5 years. We're in year 2 of that. It's costing us $325,000 per year. That's all part of a water resource acquisition fee, so we've been collecting fees from new developments to go out and purchase additional water supplies as we need them. We're going to get into rates here. We're trying to be sensible and reasonable and balanced, where our expenditures and revenues balance each other out. So we have a public hearing on our rates here today also. So I think a little later we'll open this
Joel, do we need to do
for the budget, sorry.
So that's
Do you guys have any questions over the budget? I'm sorry. I went over that pretty quickly today. You guys have seen it a couple of times. Do you have any questions on that currently?
Anyone have any questions?
No.
No.
okay.
Nope, no questions.
They just need to do one public hearing.
Okay,
Keep
Okay.
going through each item.
this is a public hearing. Do we have any?
We're going to do it at the end, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could do
Chairman Wilson.
one public hearing for items 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, so do one public hearing for all three of, okay. All right, so we'll do presentation, discussion, and public hearing, number resolution 2022-006 and 007. So I'll take care of all of them.
So our next one is consideration for readoption of existing rates, user fees, charges for fiscal year 2022 and 23. We're proposing some new rates for monthly base service charge inside and outside the city. We're proposing some new consumption rates for outside the city limits, and then also proposing new system connection fee rates and water acquisition fee rates. Also with that, there's some minor ones that we have in the RAC, but you have the whole rate package in there. I'm not going to go through them all tonight, but you have that in your package tonight. Just some comparisons of our base rate that we have here in Apache Junction. Currently, our base rate is $27.24 for a 5/8 by 3/4 inch meter. We're proposing to raise it to $28.60. As you can see, we did comparable cities here in Apache Junction, and we're kind of in the middle to just above average here in Apache Junction. So proposing just a slight raise in base rates. How does this affect all of our customers? In the city limits, the base rate, we're proposing a 5% increase to the base rate. Consumption rates, we're not proposing to change any of those at this point in time, and not proposing to change any of our tiers. In the county islands, we're proposing a 5% increase to the base rate, a 5% increase to the consumption, and then no change to the tiers if you live in the county. So the existing customer that would use 7,500 gallons per month has roughly a water bill of $68.52. With this proposed increase, their bill would go to $70.02, or roughly a $1.50 increase in their bill each month. So a total of 2.2% overall increase to their bill. If you lived in a county, your existing rate is $76.70. We're proposing an increase. Your new rate our payment would be $80.53, which is roughly $3.83 per month, just under 5% increase in total to their monthly bill. To compare rates from the city to the county, if you use that 7,500 gallons in the city, it's roughly $70.02, and if you use the same amount of water in the county, it's $80.53. The residential system connection fee for potable water here in Apache Junction currently is $4,700 for a single-family resident. We're proposing to raise that to $6,994. Tisha Bice did a study for us based on additional needs for tanks, boosters, for new customers or new development that would come in. We always want development to pay for itself, so this would raise that rate so we could build that infrastructure for them as they came in. As you can see, it's a big increase, but as you can see, today's prices of materials and construction costs are very sharply on the rise right now. For residential system connection fee down in Blossom Rock or Reverence, which is the new development south of Baseline, their proposed system connection fee is $509. They are paying for all the infrastructure to service that development, so tanks, booster pump station, production capacity for wells, and surface water plant expansions. So they pay a lower rate for different things, but not for infrastructure. Water resource acquisition fee, we're looking at $3,292 currently. We want to raise that to $3,486. So this is to go out and get additional water supplies here for Apache Junction. Just like we've purchased, as you guys seen earlier, we're working with non-Indian agricultural water that we're purchasing. We're working with Salt River to purchase additional water supplies. This goes into a savings account, and as these waters come available, or we work with different and new irrigation districts or different water providers, we can purchase that water or lease water from different people so that we have supplies here in Apache Junction.
It's a big topic of conversation in the public.
So we're going to get a little bit to that a little later today to show you guys kind of where we're at and things. Any questions on those rates?
I do have a question. What do we call you, Your Honor, or Chairman? Chairman, Mr. Chairman. Some of the tiers did not have an increase. I'm just curious. You know, in the beginning of your presentation, there were things that had increases, but the tiers didn't.
So the tiers are for water conservation. So 0 to 4,000 gallons is paid at a lifeline rate. 4,000 to 10,000 gallons is paid at another rate, and then 10,000 gallons and above is paid at a different rate. We're not proposing to change any of those tiers from changing maybe to 3,000 or lower them or raising them, so we change those. Okay? And then we're not, we didn't, in the city limits, we're not proposing to change any of the consumption rates per thousand, only in the county right now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I just have one comment.
Yes.
I don't know why this presentation isn't part of our iPads to use it as a back reference. Do you know?
Not sure why it's
if
not in the,
Just an oversight. Usually, because you can
Usually
go
it gets
back
in there.
and, you know, reference the numbers, and we don't have it.
Okay?
so the slideshow mic is not in Legistar, but
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
We need to get that in there for you.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
And we can get those in there, but we can also send that to them.
Yes.
We can help with that, Anna, get this email out.
Okay, any others? All right.
Agenda item number 4, consideration adopting rates, fees, and charges for fiscal year 2022 and 23 for new non-potable water rates. The new development to the south will be developing a non-potable water system that we will be billing customers on. So it's separate from our residential potable water rates, so we have to present all new rates for this. So kind of give you an idea of a larger 2-inch meter for irrigation. Most of this for this new development is for the new park system that is a public park down there, or there is some private parks that the development is proposing down there. So instead of using potable water to water and irrigate lands, we're looking at using effluent or non-potable water to service these. So they get serviced at a different water rate. So in the case here, this is a 2-inch meter. Your base monthly fee is $329. Your consumption would be $900. So roughly $1,350 you'd be paying a month. On a non-potable rate, which we are suggesting here, same base rate, because we still have to go maintain that meter, we still have to read that meter, we still have to maintain the system. It's the same on the base rate, but on the consumption rate, it's $2.50 a thousand compared to, as you get in our higher tiers, $6 and above per 1,000 gallons. So it's cheaper water, but it's not treated as high quality, and it's not potable water, so we can save the potable water to service other customers. These are just the rates as different size meters. We're on system connection fees, so they'd be paying the same for system connection fees because in the future we'll have to build larger booster stations, put in additional tanks, different things like that. So we will be still collecting a system connection fee to that non-potable system. And water resource acquisition fees. They are still using a valuable water resource here in Apache Junction. So even though it's not potable, the water we're purchasing on our potable system is not potable until we treat it. So these are still the same fees as we're acquiring water out there as if it was potable water. So but this is on our non-potable system rates though. Do you guys have any questions on those?
Don't see any.
Okay, that is the end of the presentation for those 3 items on the agenda.
Okay. So these are a public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this? And I see no movement. So do we have a motion for the first one?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2022-005, fully adopting estimates of expenditures by the Water Utility Community Facilities District, City of Apache Junction, for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023, declaring establishment of budget and rate schedule for the Water Utilities Community Facilities District, City of Apache Junction, for fiscal year 2022-2023. And I have a question. Does this have the emergency clause?
No, it does not.
Okay. Be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Well,
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Board Member Evans,
yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rizzi,
Yes.
Chairperson Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, for number 2022-006.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2022-006, readopting all existing potable rates, user fees, and charges for fiscal year 2022, 2023, including new potable rates for monthly,
McNulty's getting me.
okay, for monthly base service charges inside and outside city limits, water consumption rate per 1,000 gallons outside city limits, system connection fees, water acquisition fees, and establishing an effective date be approved.
Second,
Moved and double seconded. Roll call, please.
Board Member Evans,
yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rizzi,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Chair Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And 2022-007.
Your Honor, I move that resolution number 2022-007, adopting new non-potable rates, user fees, and charges for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, including new non-potable rates for monthly base service charges inside and outside city limits, water consumption rate per 1,000 gallons outside city limits, system connection fees, water acquisition fees, and establishing an effective date be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call?
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Evans,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rizzi,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Board Member Schroeder,
Yes.
Chair Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay. District Managers Report. Brian.
I have no report tonight, Your Honor.
Okay. District Directors Report. Mike.
Your Honor, I have a few things to go over with you tonight. I believe this was presented to you last night in your work session on Tyler Technologies Munis Utility Billing Software. The Water District is recommending Munis Utility Billing Software to replace our outdated AS400 software for billing. The Water District demoed several other billing softwares other than the Munis. Some were very high priced. That didn't work for 4,500 service connections we have today. Others were not scalable for the size of city where we are today and then growing in the future. So we came back and worked with finance also because it integrates with our financial packages and different things we have here and made it a lot easier. And we ended up recommending that we move forward with utility billing with Munis. Some of this was just a repeat from last night. This is the Munis Enterprise Resource Planning System, software that manages and streamlines multiple business processes in a single system. So again, trying to bring all of our software here, our financial packages, bring it all into one. This is a cloud-based software that we'll be using. So a lot of it's getting away from servers here in the city and moving to the cloud. Part of the projects in 2021, or July 1st of 2020, we've completed our financial package with the city. The Water District uses the same finance department, same finance director as part of the Water District. So we finished that in July 1st of 2020. We also did the human resource portion and payroll in January 1st of 2021. And now we're looking to move forward with our utility billing here with a go-live date of September 30th of 2023. And they're going to be part of the our changes that we're going to be doing as part of the configuration, conversion of customer data, testing, validation, and then communication to go live with all of our customers out there. Make sure they're aware of what's happening and what's changing with our software and how to sign up for online bill pay and different things like that.
And they said that'll keep 5 years of the customer's records?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this system's going to replace our AS400. This was in place in 1994 when the city actually purchased the Water District. and we formed this new district here. Some of the things we're going to have is GIS mapping as part of it. So if we have a main break in a certain area, we can put a circle around it and actually notify those customers that we may have a water outage in that area, or if we have some kind of water quality issue, we can notify customers faster. As part of billing, currently, we do all manual calls. When somebody is due to be shut off that day, we call them up, notify them, see if they'd like to pay their bill. It's going to be automated so that it automatically does that, so somebody can pay their bill if they just forgot or something happened there. There's a lot more benefits to the process that the communication out to our customers. So this is what we're looking forward to in the future here in Apache Junction.
And that's much appreciated.
Yes. I know we have a lot of troubles with our existing online payment portal. So hopefully we'll get through that. Yeah. So AJ is going to use the existing agreement as a vehicle for procurement for this package, and that's why it was presented to you last night. They'll be actually signing an amendment to their agreement so that we can utilize that as part of that, so we can, and then Apache Junction Water District will actually be paying those expenses for utility billing, not the city, but we're just paying through their contract. The agreement includes implementation cost and one-year maintenance support, a one-time implementation cost of $117,000, roughly, an annual maintenance support cost of $25,000. Currently, we're averaging between $40,000 to $50,000 in annual maintenance cost for our AS400, so it's actually a little cheaper. It's because we have that financial package tied to it also, so that'll help. Then we're adding plus a 20% contingency, just in case as our integration comes together from different packages for the financial system. We also have metering software we bring in, GIS system to bring that all together. We want to make sure that we have some contingency in there so that we don't run over. We're asking for $171,873 to spend on this project. We budgeted this year to do this roughly $150,000, so it's a little over budget at this point in time. Any questions on utility billing?
Don't see any?
And we'll keep you informed as we go through the process. They're a little behind, so I believe we're going to start the integration or just getting with them in September. You'll hear more in January. We'll get some more information out to our customers. And then as we slowly go through the process, I'll keep you guys updated as we go through that. So if you have any questions out there with the public, you guys can answer those also. Okay? So I'm going to do a quick, brief update of water. I know you guys are getting asked a lot of questions on where we're at with water here in Apache Junction. I'm going to give a little update on the Apache Junction Water District side, and then we're going to have Arizona Water Company step up here and do a little presentation also so they can explain where they're at. But as part of the package, as you guys come in and we educate you on the water district, here's our water portfolio. So it's not just a big bucket of water. We actually have different ways that we can produce water here. As you can see, the red area here is groundwater capacity. So we are a designated provider here in Apache Junction. We have 2,372 acre feet of groundwater available to us each year that we can pump from the ground. Our CAP allocation is the dark blue there. It's 2,919 acre feet, which is a renewable resource. This comes from the Colorado River. So we are provided that each year. Maybe in the near future, they may reduce some of that amount, but we're not sure. We'll see how the drought goes. If we get some rain, we can come back, but if it doesn't, they may reduce that. We've been in meetings with CAP, figuring out where we're going to be here in the future, because we'll be starting to do our orders here in October for the following year. So we'll keep you guys informed where we're at, but currently it's 2,919 acre feet. The light blue box to the top is 817 acre feet of non-Indian agricultural water that we just started purchasing this year. We took that for the first time. It was first made available to us after 10 years. Next year it's not going to be available, so we actually put it into the ground so that we can pump it out later, that 817 acre feet that we received this year. Brick water. So we leased from the Gila River Indian Community 1,000 acre feet of water, CAP water. So this was done 5 years ago, I believe, and we continue to move forward with that. Made that available. This is all for new development planning for the future that make sure that we have plenty of water here in Apache Junction.
What was where are we getting that from?
Gila River
Gila.
Indian Community.
Gila.
And the final
So
piece of
they have river rights from the Colorado, right, Mike?
correct. So they have river rights on the Colorado River to irrigate their crop and provide service to their
And that's the
community.
1,000, that's the 1,000? I'm colorblind, dude, so all this
Oh,
doesn't mean
sorry.
nothing to me. So that's the 1,000?
Yeah.
That's 1,000, yeah.
And the last piece of the pie is the green ones, long-term storage credits. So effluent credits that we have purchased from the sewer district. So they take the effluent water that they treat the effluent, or their sewage water, make it effluent, we pump it into the ground for future years. So year after year, we're continually buying those credits from the sewer district. Okay,
Mr. Mayor?
yes.
Your Honor? Mike, just to maybe help me, because my first time going through this. So that's 7,831 acre feet per year. That's the assets, that's what we maintain every year.
That's correct.
Okay. So that's not addressing the demand at this point. That's just simply, this is what we have available to us.
This is paper water available to us today.
Okay, got it, okay.
Okay? So that, good, you're leading me into where I'm going here.
Yeah,
So,
good to know.
so the total water assets, we have that 7,831 acre feet. The total water we used last year in our ADWR report, for our annual report, was 2,940 acre feet.
Jeez.
Okay? But as you look through this, only 1,700 was for potable use. 1,000 acre feet we stored in the ground. And 244 acre feet we used for construction, water, or non-potable uses. So if we had to, I know the question comes up is, where are we getting all this water from? Are we going to dry up here in Apache Junction? As you can see here, 7,831 acre feet, we're using for potable use 1,000. So we have 6,000 acre feet. We're not close to maxing out. If you go to Mesa or Phoenix or different areas, they use 100% of their CAP water and 100% of their SRP water, and they pump very little groundwater. Now they have to start backing off those and pumping that groundwater. We're still in great shape here in Apache Junction.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to keep it up with the public and let them know how we've been planning, where we're at today, how we've been storing water, and different things so that, again, we're not running out of water. Even though these large developments are coming in, we've planned for this. This is why the water district, we've brought these 1,000 acre feet of leased water, 817 acre feet of non-Indian agricultural water. We're continually looking for new resources out here in Apache Junction.
Is this information public for the other neighboring cities?
Mhm.
It's on their website?
For other neighboring cities, we'd have to check into that for you, but
Because it's a good conversation that, to be able to show or explain. It'd be neat to have a little pocket card when we get this, because I don't know about the others, but it's one of the things I get a lot, is
It's a
water,
really
water,
good
water.
selling point to let people know about our city.
Yeah. I mean, just recently, somebody just literally asked, is it safe? Are we safe here in Apache Junction when it comes to our water?
Right.
So it'd be neat to have a little pocket card to say, here you go. That's why I snapshot it, so it is on my phone.
okay.
I could pull
So-
it out.
And to give you an idea, we have additional 6,000 acre feet. Roughly, it's about a third of an acre foot per home. So it's 18,000 units. Down in our new developments, 11,000 units, so we feel comfortable where we're sitting today for that first 4 square miles. So we're not rushing out to get additional supplies. We're working with other water purveyors and different things to come up with those for the future, but as we grow, we need to start looking into those. And those new development will pay for those water resource acquisition fees for us to go out and purchase those additional supplies, rather than relying on our existing customers to do something like that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So Mike, just another question. So with all of these assets we have with these different organizations, are there any that are at risk that because of the demands or because there are shortages that we're being told about nonstop? Any of these things that they could turn around and say, oops, sorry?
So yes, like I said earlier, the non-Indian agricultural water, first time it was ever used was this year, but that was because we just signed the agreement with the Bureau of Rec. Next year, it's not going to be available to us, so they're cutting out some of the agricultural uses for the CAP water, so that will not be available to us.
Okay.
The 2,919 acre feet of CAP allocation that's for municipal and industrial use is higher priority, so it's lower, so we have to get further into different tiers of drought before we actually get reduction in those. We're not there yet, but we're working through that, and if we don't the drought continues, we will have some reductions in that, but it's going to be only a certain percentage of that. But some of these other ones on our groundwater or long-term storage credits, no, we would not be reduced on those at this point. Any other questions on that?
Do we ever get to the point, have you ever heard of getting to the point where there's like restrictions where people are like, you can't water your grass, you can't?
So we had to do just a report with Department of Water Resources, showing our water conservation measures out here in Apache Junction. So right now, we're on not any restrictions. We do have emergency stages of, okay, voluntary restrictions on yourself of, hey, don't wash your car outside, don't take long showers, do different things like that. And we'll provide that to the public as we get further along with this. And then as it grows, I think you guys have seen probably some over in California where they can't, there's laws against now, they will get fined if they go out in their water, their lawns and get caught and different things like that. So we're not to that point yet. It goes on for another 2 or 3 years. We may be that way here in Apache Junction, but hopefully the drought doesn't continue and we start getting some water supplies here.
It's okay that we water our cars inside?
Well, I guess they prefer that you go through a car wash rather
Okay.
than washing your car.
That won't restrict car washes and businesses like that?
No, because supposedly they use less water than if you washed your own car at your house.
Okay.
So, and with that, I'd like to bring up Arizona Water Company here to do a presentation to you guys over the kind of the same subject. For the new members, we only service a third of the city. They service the other 2/3. So they'll give a kind of idea where they're at on some of their water supplies.
Your Honor, we're going to call up Bill Staples, who's our local rep, and one that knows, he'll introduce everybody that's here from Arizona Water. As Mike just said, 2/3 of our city residents receive water from Arizona Water. This is a critical piece of the water supply. So you see our 8,000 or so acre feet available. Think of 24,000 or maybe more. We'll see this slideshow, but bring up Bill and turn it to you, Bill.
Good evening, Chairman Wilson and board members. I'm Bill Staples, General Manager, Arizona Water and Apache Junction. Thank you for inviting us here tonight to discuss our water resources. With me tonight is Fred Schneider, President of Arizona Water Company.
Thanks.
James Wilson, Assistant General Manager of Arizona Water and Apache Junction. And then the person that's going to give the presentation on our water resources is Terry Sue Rossi, our Water Resources Manager.
Thank you very much for having us here this evening. It's my pleasure to be here. I have been in the water industry for my entire career, and I was the Water Resources Manager for both the City of Peoria and the City of Surprise, their first water resource managers. And so it's a pleasure to be here to talk to you about water resources. And when I was a water resource manager for cities, I had a tendency to look at the city as a whole, the entire municipal planning area, which included the private utilities located inside that municipal planning area. And I've taken that same philosophy as I've moved into working for private utilities as well. So tonight, when I present our information, I'm looking at it within the context of your municipal planning area. So how do I work this? Just this? Okay. Oh, there we go. So just a few quick facts about our company. So we are a U.S. family-owned business, and we've been operating in Arizona since 1955. We are the second largest investor-owned water utility in the state of Arizona. We serve in 8 different counties and in actually 14 incorporated areas. It says 4, but it's actually 14. And we have 25 different water systems. We have over 100,000 connections and serve over 250,000 people, and we have 260 employees. We have a philosophy in serving in what I would call niche communities, so some of the smaller communities. And we like to have all of our employees be residents of the communities that we serve. And we have a saying, which is that we have no exit strategy. So we plan to be here for an indefinite period of time. And that is our philosophy as a family-owned company. I'm going to be focusing in on what we call our superstition water systems, which is right there. And that's you. And then here is your municipal planning area, which I'm sure you recognize. The white lines that you see on there are our water lines. And so you can see that our areas are in the east, southeast in Gold Canyon, and then in the heart of Apache Junction and out to the east towards the Superstition Mountains. This is our CCNN, our Certificate of Convenience and Necessity. We also serve the town of Superior, and so that is within the entire, what we call our superstition CCNN. And this is just a land use map that kind of gives you a picture of where the private land is and where the public land is. And as you can see, there's a vast amount of Arizona state land, which I'm sure you know, inside of your municipal planning area as well as inside of our CCNN. The tannish color, which I apologize, my husband is colorblind, I apologize for the colors. But the little tannish color in there is BLM land, and then and I put some labels on there, and the USF, United States Forest Service land, is the green in the right corner. So you can see there's a lot of state land and a lot of land that's not developed inside of the municipal planning area, which I'm sure you knew. As far as our existing water supplies are concerned, Arizona Water Company gets water from 3 different supplies. We have groundwater, just like you do. We have access to CAP water, as you do. And we have some access to effluent that's produced by Liberty Utilities. We do a combination of direct use and recharge and recovery on our CAP water. We deliver CAP water directly to the 4 golf courses that you see there, including Apache Creek Golf Course that's located here. The other 3 are actually located in Gold Canyon. And then we also provide effluent from Liberty Utilities to Mountain Brook Golf Club and to Gold Canyon RV Resort. Here's just a chart of our existing supplies relative to our demands. So our demands right now are about 11,000 acre feet. I think Mr. Powell was referencing that earlier. I think your potable demand is roughly, what, around 1,500 or 1,600 acre feet?
That's right.
So our total demand at this point is about 11,000, and that includes roughly 3,000 acre feet of non-potable water. So we are considerably larger. The orange line that you see going, that looks like a straight line going across the middle, is our customer connections. So the right side of the graphic is customer connections, and the left side is acre feet. So in 2015, we were below 2,000 customers. Today, we're upwards of 23,000 customers. The little red line that you see in the middle is actually the effluent use. It's not really a line, it's just a very small amount of water. To give you an idea of how we take our water, as far as the recharge and recovery part is concerned, we store our water in 3, we're in the process of getting a 3rd water storage permit, but we primarily have stored in the past in the RWCD irrigation, the RWCD groundwater savings facility, which is that area. I can't really point to it, but the light hue off to the left where it says Higley in the middle of it, that's RWCD. And we have recently received a groundwater savings permit for New Magma Irrigation District, and we're in the process of getting one for Queen Creek Irrigation District. And those little tiny blue dots that are just to the east of New Magma along the CAP, that are bright blue, that's the Superstition Mountain Recharge Project. And so we're going to be storing at any of those facilities. Historically, we've stored primarily at RWCD and then at the Superstition Mountain Recharge Project. And then we recover that water from the white dots that you see on there, which are our wells. And then in addition to that, we deliver 3,000 acre feet of CAP water to the golf courses directly. In terms of our infrastructure, we have 10 wells, 41 booster pumps, and we treat for we chlorinate, we treat for arsenic. We have 17 tanks totaling 22 million gallons of storage, roughly 437 miles of pipe. Our groundwater production, the maximum is about 17.8 million gallons per day, and when you consider what we would refer to as a water duty, if we operate roughly 75% of the time, that's roughly 15,000 acre feet of water. Our CAP entitlement is 6,285 acre feet. 285 acre feet of that is dedicated to our Superior system, and the effluent production is about 0.58 acre feet, 0.58 million gallons per day, and that's roughly 650 acre feet per year. So our system is growing at roughly 400 connections per year. Now I'll move on to the Colorado River, some of the status with that, because we have a large CAP allocation, so we've been tracking that very closely. These are just some numbers from recent reports from the Bureau of Reclamation. Lake Powell is currently at 27% of capacity. Lake Mead is at 26% of capacity. And the levels in Lake Powell right now As of the 13th, they're at 3,536. The minimum power pool is 3,490 acre-feet. And in Lake Mead, the elevation is currently 1,045, and the minimum power pool in Mead is 1,000. We heard Mike talking about the different tiers and the shortages. This year, we're in what we call a Tier 1 shortage, so the M&I subcontracts that we both hold are not affected. Next year, they will be affected if we go into a Tier 2B shortage, which is looking to be likely, but if it goes into a Tier 2B, the reduction will be relatively modest. If it goes further than that, then we could see some bigger reductions. I just wanted to show you this graphic. This graphic is, I find this graphic interesting because it talks a lot about Glen Canyon Dam. And people don't often understand the relationship between Glen Canyon Dam and Lake Mead and Hoover Dam. But in Glen Canyon Dam, they operate the two lakes in tandem. So if you more look at like it's more like a single storage facility instead of two different lakes, but they both produce power. And the unusual thing about Glen Canyon that I think that perhaps many people did not really understand is that at some point we could reach the point of where we would not be able to run water through the turbines. So if we get to 3,490 feet, then we will no longer be able to deliver the water through the turbines, which is how the power is produced, and that's also how the water is released downstream to Lake Mead. And then if we get to that point, then they have these outlet structures. There are 4 of them, and they would release the water through the outlet structures. But they've never operated them before, so there's some uncertainty associated with that. So that's why you're hearing these things about Lake Powell and how important Lake Powell is. The Bureau of Reclamation has indicated that they will do many things in order to protect power at Lake Powell, at Glen Canyon. So let's go on and talk a little bit more about kind of the things that we're involved with Colorado River shortages. So we sit on the Arizona Reconsultation Committee, which is a group of people who are talking about how we're going to be operating the lake system after 2026. We also have something called a shared interest group, which is a group that we organized of water providers that are similar to us. You guys actually sit on that committee as well. And we advise our ARC members, and then the ARC members go to the Arizona Reconsultation Committee and help influence how the operation is going to happen in the future. The Arizona Water Banking Authority is an organization that's been storing unused CAP water underground for over 20 years for this very day when we would have a shortage. And between now and 2026, they will be backing up the CAP allocations. At this point, they've said they would be backing them up 100%. After 2026, their rules can be changed. There's also something called the 500+ plan, which is a compensated conservation program, and if you decide to reduce the volume of CAP water that you're taking, you could be eligible for some of the funds associated with a 500+ plan. And then there's something called moral conservation, which would be a voluntary reduction in water use, which would not be compensated. And all of these would be...
You could come in. Excuse me. It's just getting weird. People are like peeking in like we're in a fish tank or something.
And so all of these things are really in an effort to prevent the lake from getting to levels that would be too low for our best interest, and that's kind of the idea there. So Arizona Water Company has a demand management program. We've launched the program in 3 of our different communities. We are now engaged in discussions with you all, have been for about the last year. There are a number of elements in our conservation programs. We have a conservation campaign that includes a water journey video, a launch video. It includes social media. We work with our communities, and we leverage the strength of the communities and the water utilities. So we work with the communities on the ordinances that they have. We have a conservation-oriented rate structure, as you do. We have leak detection and repair, meter repair and replacement, and a number of other things. And we also do something called a comprehensive water use assessment, where we figure out where do we get the most bang for the buck once we analyze the water use data in the community. In the conservation programs, we launched one in Superior in August of 2021, and it is sustainability focused. We also have begun discussions for a conservation program in Gold Canyon, and we're hoping to launch that in November of 2022. And again, we've been participating with you guys. We've done a number of things in the last year. We've also participated in the past in we participated with you all in the Water Smart Workshop in February of 2020. And in fact, Bill was at that particular one. We've conducted water audits at Prospector Park and participated in 3 events in 2021. And we've also participated in the past in Project Wet Water Festivals. And we're also in the process of applying for a Sonoran Institute Technical Assistant grant for $10,000 to launch the social media campaign here in Apache Junction. Future supplies. Future supplies include conservation, local groundwater, which includes our existing assured water supply determination volume, which is roughly 9,594 acre-feet. We have 13,000 lots under certificate, and 2,000 of those lots are vacant. And we recently received a physical availability determination for an additional 16,000 acre-feet of groundwater. We're going to be applying for a CAP NIA water allowance or allocation in the next round of the NIA water, and we are going to be developing wastewater inside of our central corridor. And we're going to be looking at, one of the things we would like to explore with you all would be the allocation of reclaimed water between existing and future users. So future water supplies, we're looking at roughly over 30,000 acre-feet of water supplies. Today, our total demand is, as I said, about 11,000 acre-feet. And we're projecting at a rate of growth of 400 units per year, which is modest. Depending on when Superstition Vistas explodes, that number could change dramatically. But right now, it appears that we have sufficient supplies to meet demands well into the future. So in terms of some of the future infrastructure we have planned, as a part of our PAD, we put together this long-term water supply conceptual water master plan, and we anticipate building a large main roughly from the Gold Canyon area all the way down to what we call Desert Well Field. And then we would ultimately build wells that would then come into that system and feed not only the central part of our area, but also come up into the main part of Apache Junction. Exotic supplies. So just like you guys are looking for water supplies, so are we. I call them exotic supplies because they're not immediately under our control. Things like remote groundwater, which would include Harquahela and other groundwater ranches located in western Arizona. The Bartlett Dam modification that Mike was referring to. We are also a member of the steering committee, and we have expressed an interest for roughly what would equate to 23,000 acre-feet of water. And we're also involved in the development of the Arizona Water Authority, or whatever that ends up being. So I think we're perhaps running out of time. So I'm going to maybe skip this one. And what I'd like to talk a little bit about is how critical the partnerships are in our area. And all of these people need to be involved in partnerships for us to be successful going forward. And then I'm going to skip that one. And I'm going to skip that one. And then some things to consider is that there are ample existing and future water supplies to meet the current and future demands. And new developments must prove a 100-year assured water supply, and that's done through the state. New developments must also provide funding for all required infrastructure, just as they do in your area, and multiple opportunities for future statewide projects to stabilize the CAP supplies. The vast majority of the growth is going to be inside of the Apache Junction Water District. Our area is more built out than your area. Your job is to decide what the community will look like and how to allocate your assets. Our job is to build the infrastructure and deliver the water. And so we see ourselves as in a partnership with you all, and we believe that we will all rise and fall together. And so that concludes my presentation.
I found it really interesting that you were in all these other communities. I had no idea how big the company was. That was really interesting.
Yes. Yes, if you added us all together, we'd be a pretty big community.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I would like to thank you all for coming and sharing this information with us. And I'd actually like to see you more often. Being that you supply 2/3 of our water, I think we're in such a growth mode. I think it's very important to update us way more often. I'd like to see that. I can't make you do that, but,
We would be happy to come whenever you would like us to come.
okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I personally want to say thank you. 'Cause that is, I'm going to say, one of the leading questions that keep coming to us repeatedly of, we're in a drought, where are we going to get the water? Why are we allowing more building being built, more homes coming in when we're in the middle of a drought? And this kind of will load us up as well and help us explain it to the general public.
Yes.
And I thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time this evening.
Yep, thanks.
In your honor, I just want to also just say thank you to Arizona Water. We are working jointly on a technical assistance grant that will help us get some funding to be able to jointly communicate. You can't sell a secret. Got to let folks know. We're learning that we need to keep continually helping folks know AJ Water District territory, fast growth, how we're preparing, and then Arizona Water Company, how it all works together as a partnership. So I want to say thanks to Fred for helping us work that out, and we'll get that communication going.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.